Hello and welcome. I'm Saeed from StoryPlanet.net. Dive right into the essence of the most captivating books without reading them cover to cover. Whether you're on the go, at the gym, or just relaxing at home, we offer you a unique and enriching listening experience. Today, we are exploring the book Crashed, a creation by Adam Tooze. In Crashed, published in 2018, Adam Tooze delves into the metaphorical impact of the 2008 financial crisis, exploring its global repercussions, from America's financial hubs to far-reaching geopolitical points like Crimea, London, and Athens. Before we delve into these revelations, it's interesting to note that Adam Tooze, a British historian, is a professor and the director of the European Institute at Columbia University in New York. His past works comprise The Wages of Destruction, 2006, which won the Wolfson History Prize and focused on Nazi Germany's economic policies, and The Great Deluge, 2014, which analyzed the Great War and the establishment of a fresh international order. With 9 key ideas to unveil, brace yourself for a deep dive into this captivating book. On StoryPlanet.net. To start, this text is likely a brief overview or introduction to the 2008 financial crisis, highlighting key points and reasons behind the crisis. The end of the Cold War led to consensus in Western societies focused on market-driven approaches, but the 2008 financial crisis shattered this consensus. The crisis led to political upheavals as governments tackled the economic fallout. Adam Tooze traces these events back to the financial crisis and argues that understanding its history is crucial for economic and political stability. This period has been the greatest turmoil in the Western world in 30 years. Questions remain about the path to stability in the future. Key points: the causes and responses to the 2008 crisis, the shift in political dynamics, and the importance of historical perspective in navigating current challenges. Key idea number 1. The U.S. mortgage industry was unstable and prone to collapse. The 2008 financial crisis had roots back to the 1970s when U.S. lending markets were deregulated. The housing bubble burst due to subprime mortgages and securitization. The collapse of Lehman Brothers in 2008 marked the start of the crisis. Warnings about risks in the financial industry were ignored despite economist Raghuram Rajan's caution in 2005. Key idea number 2. The European financial crisis was caused by the U.S. crash. European banks heavily invested in risky American mortgages before the 2008 financial crisis, with a significant portion of U.S. mortgage securities held by foreign banks, most of which were European. European banks were more leveraged than their American counterparts, with ratios of at least 40.1 for some leading banks. They lacked the cash needed to cover their debts, with the European Central Bank and other key banks having significantly less cash than required. The crisis began to unfold in Europe well before Lehman Brothers went bankrupt, with banks freezing funds and investors withdrawing trillions of dollars in a panic reminiscent of the 1930s. Key idea number 3. The Eurozone was not able to replicate the successful response of the United States. The 2008 housing crash led to a global financial crisis, with significant drops in trade and job losses in the US. The US government implemented quantitative easing to stabilize the economy. Eurozone countries faced challenges due to the common currency, with Germany reluctant to support struggling nations like Greece for historical and political reasons. This led to individual countries resolving their debt issues independently. Key idea number 4. Lack of European unity caused smaller countries to struggle after the 2008 crash. European countries like Greece and Ireland faced overwhelming debt due to their banks and deficits. Germany and other major Eurozone nations hesitated to offer debt relief. The IMF intervened, proposing austerity measures in exchange for bailout payments to prevent economic collapse. This move marked a significant shift and triggered political challenges due to the imposed austerity policies. Key idea number 5. Russia took advantage of the economic weaknesses in the former Eastern Bloc nations to create division and conflict between them and the Western countries. The text highlights how the recession affected the former Eastern Bloc and led to tensions in Ukraine between Russia and the West. Countries like Poland, Latvia, and Estonia relied heavily on foreign investment, particularly in industries like car making. Ukraine faced pressure to align with either NATO or the Russian-led Eurasian Customs Union. Political decisions led to economic crises, with Ukraine's steel industry shrinking significantly. The country received aid offers from both the West and Russia, ultimately aligning more closely with Russia. This sparked protests in Ukraine, leading to political turmoil, the ousting of the president, and a conflict involving Russia. Key idea number 6. London's global trading hub status was lost after the crash. London became a top global financial hub due to light regulation, attracting banks for currency trading. The 2008 crash hit London hard, leading to bank nationalisation and loss of financial prominence. Brexit and mishandling of the crisis may cause American-Asian trade to bypass Europe. Key idea number 7. Brexit referendum aimed to protect London's role as an offshore hub within the EU. Brexit stemmed from long-standing Euroscepticism in the UK, driven by concerns over London's financial hub status and austerity measures post-2008 recession. Anti-EU sentiment heightened due to issues like immigration, dissatisfaction with elites, and lack of concessions from the EU. Cameron called for a referendum to appease Eurosceptic MPs, assuming conditions were favourable for the Remain camp, but faced challenges like the Eurozone crisis and stalled negotiations. Despite his efforts, a majority voted to leave the EU in 2016. Key idea number 8. American voters shifted away from the political center due to the financial crash, displaying frustration and anger. The 2008 financial crisis led to anger as Wall Street executives received bonuses despite their role in the crash, while ordinary Americans suffered. AIG, tied to the crisis, faced huge losses but still paid out large bonuses. This sparked a belief that the system favored the wealthy elite, leading to growing discontent and protests from both the left and right sides of the political spectrum. Key figures like Warren Buffett and Robert Reich highlighted the unequal distribution of wealth and advocated for changes that faced opposition in Congress. Key idea number 9. After the financial crash in the US, there was growing frustration over the unequal sharing of suffering and financial gain, leading to political repercussions at the ballot box. Resentment against the political establishment led to significant shifts in the 2016 US presidential election. Alienated voters found candidates like Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump who resonated with their frustrations. Though Hillary Clinton was the Democratic nominee, many disillusioned voters turned to Trump, allowing him to win key states. Trump's policies favored the wealthy and Wall Street. The future impact of this political discontent remains uncertain. In conclusion, in 2008, governments and institutions struggled to manage the financial crisis fallout due to inaction and lack of coordination. Failure to punish those responsible led to citizen outrage, leading to economic crisis triggering political turmoil. The repercussions, including events like the Ukraine war, Brexit, and Trump's election, continue a decade later. Thank you for listening to this summary. If you enjoyed this exploration, we invite you to discover other fascinating books on storyplanet.net. Don't wait any longer. A multitude of books, stories, and knowledge await you there. See you soon on storyplanet.net.